office, Money Matters Institute, or MMI. It is our exciting new financial education series. I am Dana Eubanks. The Money Matters Institute is your path to financial empowerment. There's a 3-step approach. The mission is to empower all Chicagoans with the knowledge and skills needed to make informed financial decisions to build wealth today for tomorrow. As shared, I'm Dana Eubanks. MMI is a 3-session series of programs through webinars and workshops all the way now through November. We are delighted that you're joining us this afternoon, and it's been a pleasure to meet several of you at our in-person workshops that will happen again this Thursday. More about that in just a moment. Our 3-session series is webinars and in-person workshops and one-on-one financial counseling, which we'll also talk about in a moment. Please meet today's presenters from the Resurrection Project. This workshop will help you explore debt management. It's called Debt Busters. So if you're looking for ways to manage your money, to strengthen your money management skills, strategize ways to meet your goals, consider how you're managing your debt. Throughout this presentation, please feel free to post your questions in the chat. And at the end of the presentation, we will respond to your questions. So please put your questions in the chat as we're going. We are honored to have our educational partners from the Resurrection Project begin the conversation. Joining us is Sandy Guzman, Senior Financial Empowerment Coach, and Sandy Cabrera, Senior Home Purchase Advisor. They will be presenting Debt Reduction 101. Sandy and Sandy, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
So, let's start the webinar. My name, again, is Sandy Guzman. I'm the Senior Financial Empowerment Coach here at the Resurrection Project. I've been with TRP for 14 years, 12 of those years within the Financial Wellness Department, Financial Empowerment Department.
Hi, again, my name is Sandy Cabrera, and I'm the Senior Housing Counselor with the Resurrection Project. I'm been with the Resurrection Project for 10 years, and in this industry for 20 years doing counseling with for our clients, foreclosure and pre-purchase counseling as well.
So there's a lot of expertise here, a lot of years of expertise here right now in front of you all. But again, thank you so much for being here with us, and let's begin. Debt Reduction 101. So before we begin, or Sandy, my colleague Sandy Cabrera begins to talk about this slide here, I would like to mention about the Resurrection Project, or talk a little bit about who TRP is. The Resurrection Project will be in business, right, in the Pilsen community, and all over the state of Illinois for 34 years in October. And I would like to mention, not because we're housed or our main office is in Pilsen, that we only, cater or assist the residents in Pilsen. It's, again, anyone in the state of Illinois. We also have a very strong partnership with the General Consulate of Mexico, where we serve also clients from like Michigan, Indianapolis, Indiana. So we're branching out. So 34 years in October, and just a little bit of a backstory. In 1990, there was a lot of blight, violence, abandoned buildings in Pilsen, the Pilsen community. So what happened was residents within the community and also 6 parishes, came together to bring what's now the Resurrection Project. So it's been, again, in existence for 34 years. There's a lot of amazing work that the Resurrection Project does. Right now, we're just going to talk about what we do within financial wellness, which is our Full Circle Homes, what you see here on the screen. But we have so much more to offer, and you could always visit our website for that information. Thank you. You're on mute, Sandy.
Can you hear me? Because it's okay. No, okay. One of the services that we offer is a Full Circle Homes. Our goal is for our clients to find like everything in one stop, right? Like and to have a successful homeowner. We offer the education buying on buying and maintaining a home, helping with the credit and debt management, affordable mortgage loans. We also have a real estate services and homeowner support after the purchase. So our goal is to counsel our clients and to move from point A to point B. But once the client, if their goal is to buy a home, Our services doesn't end once the client buy a home. We have services after the client become homeowner. We can continue helping them. So our goal is the clients to come to our doors and find everything they need to achieve their goal and have a successful homeowner. So let's start with different types of debt. There's different types of debt. One of them is an installment loan and revolving loans. An installment loan is always gonna be the same amount each monthly payment and has a fixed amount of the time that is needed to be paid in. Also has a fixed interest rate. And like an example, installment loan, it can be like your car loan, student loans, mortgage. And a revolving loan is a line of credit that is always available as long as you make payments. And that's your regular like credit card. You also can have a home equity line of credit. So those are the two different debts that you can have in your credit. Um, and we can go over them one on one once you come into our office and meet. We will review your credit to see what kind of type of debt that you have and how we can help you with get better.
And other types of installment loans are those personal loans,
Exactly. Mhm.
business loans. What other? So anything that's on your credit report, but again, like Sandy mentioned, it's the
And
same amount that you pay on a monthly basis.
yes.
Okay, so what other factors affect your spending? So we had mentioned, I don't know if anyone that's on here now actually attended the last webinar that we hosted, but there's so many factors that affect spending. I did mention previously that 73% of spending, right, it's emotional spending, behavioral economics, right? So if you're sad, you want to spend. If you're angry, you want to spend. If you're happy, you want to spend, right? So 73% of Americans or American households in the United States have emotional spending habits, and the amount for that it's over $100. So it's a big chunk when you take it into consideration when you're doing your budget and just seeing how much you're spending. It just adds up throughout the year. So keep that in mind. But it also depends on how we were taught about finances. I don't know about you, Sandy, but I actually learned when I started working at the Resurrection Project. My family didn't teach me. Unfortunately, we don't get taught about finances at school, right? I wish there was a curriculum for that. But yeah, that's how I started to learn how to manage my finances when I started working at the Resurrection Project. I don't know about you, Sandy.
Same here. When I started in this industry doing counseling for the first time, I started learning about credit. I didn't know about credit, budgeting. My mom and my dad never talked about that in my house. So I know they were paying bills, but we didn't got involved with that. So and I'm glad I started learning because now I was able to help them even like to talk about credit and budgeting and all the other assistance that they can get once they become a homeowner. But definitely I learned the same way as you, Sandy. Like once I start working with in this industry, I started learning about. I didn't even know what was a credit card because we never thought about that or budgeting, like a bank account, checking account, savings account. So I mean, it's just amazing how many people is out there, and we don't or like our kids. I mean, I'm trying to now that I'm a mother. I mean, I'm trying once my kids have the age, I think try to involve them to learn how to start saving and and every like it on it's or how to spend their money. So definitely.
Yeah, it's really important to include everyone in the household when it comes to like you're doing your spending plan, which is your budget, and just include them in everything. Just have them learn at a young age. And again, unfortunately, schools do not offer a financial literacy component. So that's something that I know the Resurrection Project is trying to change, and it's something that we hope soon we're able to get inside the schools and bring these webinars or this information to young or to our youth. What makes up your financial values, and how does your culture relate to those financial habits? So again, it comes down to needs versus wants. That's something we talked about in the last webinar. Do you like to go to the gym? Do you like to spend on high quality items? Do you like to go eat out all the time? Do you like to vacation a lot? So it all depends, right? On everyone's financial values. Everyone's going to be different. When reflecting on your money habits, it's important to know what causes you to spend, right? Again, emotional spending is a big component of monthly spending. The cause can be more than one thing and doesn't necessarily have to be an emotion. So again, everyone's different. I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Sandy.
No, I think you cover everything, Sandy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. So productive debt versus non-productive debt. So productive debt is that debt that's helping you improve your credit, right? Or building credit for the first time. It could be credit cards with low interest rates, such as like a secured credit card, right? For those individuals that have never established credit for the first time or are trying to establish it for the first time. As long as payments are made on time, that's super important. And I know we're gonna have a webinar in regards to like credit, so that's something we could talk about then. But it's super important to make your payments on time. Helps establish a recurring payment pattern, which is going to be reporting as a positive note on your credit report. Non-productive debt is any negative information, judgments, collections, late payments. So anything that's going to decrease your credit score. That's something that we don't want our clients or anyone on this webinar for anything like that to happen, to have non-productive debt. It's so easy to establish your credit score for the first time or build your credit profile from scratch for the very first time. But when you damage it, unfortunately, it's going to take a very, very long time in order for you to get back, to the positive category or get back to where you were at the very beginning. So, examples of non-productive debt are those high interest personal or title loans. I know those exist. There's a lot of scams. There's a lot of, personal loans that are, you're getting charged, 300%, 500%. So ridiculous amounts of high interest. And those are also non-productive debts. The reason being a lot of the time the consumers or the clients can't, make those monthly payments. So, they're going to collections or, they miss payments. So it's super important for you to know what a productive and non-productive debt is. I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Sandy. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, no, you can't hear. No.
I don't know what's going on with it.
There we go. That's it.
Now, okay. I'm like, I'm not in mute. Okay. So just to give an example, my mother-in-law she don't have credit, and she wants to. And I'm not talking about high interest in personal loans. So she's like, her son wanted to apply for an auto loan, and she went. She doesn't have any credit, not good or bad credit. She don't like credit, even though I already like explained to her it's good to have credit. Let's start with a secure credit card. Like, no, I mean, I don't want to. So she went just recently applied for a car loan. And because she doesn't have any credit, they came back like, yeah, you can, I mean, you got approved, but with a 25% interest rate for an auto loan. I was like, that's amazing. Even though I'm like, I mean, I know you can have I mean, you don't have credit, but I mean, 25% interest rate for a $17,000 car with a payment of 680 was amazing. So it's like, it's why it's very important to see like, to start establishing the like productive credit. Like, she didn't, she say no, right? Of course, because I'm glad I was with her, but I mean, like, no, I mean, it's just, you can, if you really want to help your son to try to get a loan, and I mean, start with a secure credit card, start establishing credit so you can have a good credit and have a better rate in the car loan, because 25%, imagine, like, it was just ridiculous. The 25% interest rate is just, I mean, and I know a lot of people out there, I mean, they don't have an option. I mean, sometimes a car is not a, is that is needed, and they have, I mean, they don't have any other option, they will take that loan, right? A 25% loan, or higher. Sometimes we've seen like a 30%, and it's just, I mean, amazing how, I mean, those loans are exits like over 20%, 30%. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, thank you so much for that example. And I'd like to share an example too of non-productive debt and just like these scams. I always tell my clients, if it's too good to be true, please, do your research, right? If any company, any entities promising you something, that's a red flag right away. When you hear, ads on the radio or on the TV, there's a reason why they're promoting themselves on the TV, right? Because they need clients. So I'd like to share, Sandy. I had a client a few months ago who actually co-signed for her niece. She needed to repair her vehicle. It was a $3,000 personal loan. She actually obtained. She heard on the radio about this, like, company that was able to help and provide you with like on the spot. Personal loans, like you'll get approved on the spot, no credit score, they don't look at your credit score, nothing like that. So that's why I told her it's a red flag. They're not looking at your credit score, right? How do they know you're going to be able to pay them back? The thing is, when I looked at the contract that she brought into the office, her the interest rate that she's being charged on this personal loan is over 300%. In the long run, she has to pay $18,000 on a $3,000 personal loan. So all that extra, all that $15,000 extra amounts that she's being charged is just interest alone.
Just- yeah.
So please, do your research. If it's too good to be true, please, ask questions. You know, um, Listen to the red flags, pay attention to those red flags, and come visit a not-for-profit entity like the Resurrection Project, where we're able to guide you and just provide you with suggestions, recommendations, and also resources, right? So
Yes.
please, do your research, do your homework, and don't fall for these scams that are out there, and unfortunately, taking advantage of many communities, our communities. So
Yes. Yeah. That's 300. I mean, 300%. Imagine.
yes.
I got car with 25%. I'm like, a car loan with 25%. No, I don't think so. Like, it's just
Yeah, so
just
the cap here in the state of Illinois, I believe, is 38%, 36, 38%. It's one of those amounts. But because she's being charged 300%, this entity or this company is in another state. So they're not in the state of Illinois. So that's why they're able to charge, that
yeah.
much.
Wow.
So unfortunately, yeah, they really needed the money. They didn't pay attention to the contract, and this is what's happening, and she can't get out of it because, as you all know, when you sign a contract you cannot get out of it. So do your homework, do your
Yes.
homework.
Well, so there's some methods to reducing debt. Is that in this presentation we will discuss the following methods of reducing the debt. Transfer a balance. So I mean, once you have established credit, you may be receiving like offers from credit cards company like, oh, you can transfer your balance at 0% or no fees. So just be aware of those transfer and read the like what are the interest rate, what are the, like for how many months, just if there's any fee. And but it was one of the methods like transfer balance. If you have a high balance and a credit card like 25%, 30%, and you get an offer with a 0% for the 6 months or 12 months, you can take advantage of that to transfer that balance to try to pay the credit card faster. Also, we have the avalanche method, and we want to talk about that in the next slides, and the snowball method as well. Also, another way to reduce the debt is take a personal loan. Um, Try to get a personal loan with a fixed rate, lower rate to try to pay those high credit card balances. Just, just try to make sure you go to a bank or the bank that you bank with, you have your checking account, savings account, because if you're gonna get a personal loan with a higher rate, and it's gonna be in the same position, just put everything together. So just try to get a lower in personal loan with lower rates. And if you're gonna transfer balances from the other credit cards, just try to make sure not use those credit cards. Don't close them because they can affect your credit score. But if your goal is to reduce your monthly debt, at least just to don't not to use those credit cards again in the meantime that you're paying the personal loan, because you're gonna be paying double. I mean, you're gonna be using the credit cards again and trying to pay the balance that you just transferred. So and also there's another financial products available for clients out there. Side income. I mean, if you're trying to get reducing your debt and try to bring more income to the house, so do a jar sell products to find a part-time job, or like you like to bake, like to have a sale or something that will bring more income, and that will help you to reduce your monthly debt. So definitely our goal when you come to our office to come to for one-on-one is to review your financial profile and go over your budget to make sure you have a deficit or surplus to help you to to make your goal of reducing your debt. And if you want to buy a car or or your house for first time, so definitely there's different ways to reduce that debt or to save to get to your goal. And it, like I say, once you have the one-on-one, we will prepare an action plan based on your financial profile. Anything that you want to add, Sandy, in regards of the methods of reducing your debt? Or
No, I think that was great. I mean, you went over everything perfectly. Thank you.
okay. So let's talk about transfer a balance of a credit card debt. So what are the steps? Find and apply for the card. Usually, you may receive an offer by mail. Maybe you can apply with the bank who you bank with. Requires the balance transfer. Wait for the transfers to go through and start paying you off the debt. Right. It's important to note it's best to choose a transfer of your balance on a credit card with 0% APR, no balance transfers fee, and no annual fee in order to save the most money. So just be careful with that because sometimes there's a fee for the transfer. Maybe you only have the 0% APR on the balance that you're transferring, not the balance that you're gonna be using for that credit card. So anything that you want to add on this part, Sandy?
Yeah,
Or anything?
definitely. So it when you do want to do a transfer of balance, transfer balance, it is credit score based. So you have to make sure that your credit score is up to par, because, and this is something again we'll mention in the credit webinar. But each time you apply for line of credit, such as balance transfer credit card, your score drops up to 20 points. Doesn't matter if you're approved or denied for this particular, in this case, a balance transfer credit card. So make sure your credit scores up to par. We're here at the Resurrection Project. We're able to review that or view that with you, free of charge. It's a soft pull. Your score does not drop. It's just for viewing purposes. And there's also a 3 to 5% transfer fee. So do know that each card is gonna charge you a certain amount, 3 to 5% of whatever amount you're going to transfer to that card. And do know that there's also limits on those balance transfer cards. Let's say you have $20,000 in debt on what credit card you want to transfer that balance over. Do know that they're not going to be able, or the financial institution is not going to be able, is going to be able to transfer the whole 20 grand, right? $20,000. They could probably do 8,000, 9,000. So if you're seeking to, the rest or the remainder of that debt, try to see if there's another a card that would allow you to transfer that extra amount or that other debt that you have. So do know that. Yeah. So there's again, always do your homework. Do your research. Compare 2 to 3 credit cards to see who's offering you the best offer, because in the long run, what you're trying to do is save money. One of the other things I did want to add, when you transfer cards over, the majority of the cards are only going to give you the 0% interest on the amount that was transferred over. So the debt that was transferred over. If you add more debt to that card, unfortunately, you're going to get charged interest on that amount. So my recommendation, do not use that, card where you transfer the balance over of another debt. Don't use it. Take advantage of the 0%. You're there just to, what you want to do is pay off that debt and save as much as you can, not to add more debt, because, we don't want, the sole purpose of this balance transfer is for you to get out of debt, not to add more debt. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else, Andy.
Oh no, thank you. You explained it
Okay.
better than me. Yeah,
Oh, no.
that's so the avalanche method consists on paying off the highest interest credit card first, and then moving to the next card. The pros is paying off the highest interest card first ensures you pay less interest overall, saves you a lot of money in the long run. The cons is that will primarily benefit if the people has less than 4 credit cards, depending on how much you owe. For the highest interest credit card, it can take a long time to pay it off. It requires a long-term commitment. And these prices have the lowest rates than other methods. So if you have over 5, 6, 7 credit cards, it may take you a long time, and you may not see the difference because you're paying first the high interest credit cards. So definitely it depends on how much you owe in that credit card, what is the rate on that credit card. So definitely, I mean, this is one of the methods. It may works for some clients, it may not work for everyone.
And so this is something, again, it's the lowest success rate, right? The avalanche method. So if you're going to go, going through a hard time, or you're not going to have extra money, or you do your spending plan or your budget and you see there's a deficit, there's nothing left over, we would say, stay away from the avalanche method, because, it is going to take a very, very long time for you to pay it off. Obviously, like it states here on the screen, it's going to help you save money. But if you're not going to be able to, stick with the plan, it usually, for one credit card, it depends on how much you owe. It could take, a year, 3 years, right? So it all depends. So it is a long-term commitment, and if you know you're not going to be able to commit to paying off, a big chunk of your monthly income to these credit cards,
Yes.
then we would say steer away from this method.
Thank you. S-
Okay, so the snowball method.
Simulation.
The snowball method consists of paying off your smallest debts first and then moving on to the bigger debts. This is the one that we see our clients are more successful in because it motivates you, right? You're paying off like the smallest amount and you're just, going up the ladder, right? So the pros can be motivating to pay off small debts and continue on to the bigger ones. Motivates you to accomplish smaller goals, right? And it's going to enable you to tackle those bigger goals or those bigger debts. Relatively higher success rate within the avalanche method, as we mentioned. The cons: if paying off smaller debts first, then you run the risk of continuing to pay higher interest rates, and that is true, because you're focusing on one particular a debt, right? But the recommendation that we have for our clients is, focus on that small debt, and please still continue to pay off the rest of the debts, even if it's minimum payments. But as long as you tackle that one, that smaller component or the smaller debt, that's great, right? It's going to motivate you, like, okay, I paid off one collection, let's go on to the next one. But don't forget to pay off the rest of your debts. That's something that we all also want to, like, highly advise. Don't skip any payments because you're focusing on just paying one lump sum. If you don't have the money to do the snowball method, obviously, that's okay. We could come up with a plan here at the Resurrection Project for you, an action plan where we're able to help you and provide you with like recommendations, tools, anything to get you there into paying off these debts. Depending on the amount of your smallest debt, it can take a long time to pay off. Before continuing with your other debts. One of the recommendations that we do have, it's when it comes down to income tax season, right? We have our families that do receive a large amount of monies back. So what we say is, like, use some of that, income tax, the federal return, the state return, whatever it is, to pay off these debts. So there's way of doing it, ways of doing this or paying off debts, and it's just having an action plan and sticking to it and just being motivated to do so. I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Sandy.
Oh, no, no. I
Okay.
think, yeah.
All right. So taking out a personal loan. So many people take out personal loans for emergencies,
We can, Sandy, I think you're muted.
Thank you so much. Many people take out personal loans for emergencies, right? Obviously, sometimes the emergencies arise, and you get a personal loan with a high interest rate. That's okay because it's needed, right? But when it comes down to personal loans, being a good option to pay off your debt, like you mentioned, Sandy, make sure that it's an interest rate that's lower than what you're paying on your credit card, right? Your credit cards right now. If you're paying 20% on credit cards, there's no reason for you to get a personal loan at 38%, right? It
Yes.
doesn't make any sense because you're going to pay even more monies in the long run. Um, all personal loans have a credit score requirement. They do look at that. They want to make sure, that you're going to be able to pay the financial institution back. Please make sure, again, that the interest rate is lower than what you're paying now. Shop around on those credit cards, right? Do your research. Don't apply for anything. Do your research first, right? Go on Google or go to, like, the financial institution, to their web pages and see, jot it down on a piece of paper. Make sure you do your homework, but don't apply for, the credit cards. Again, that's a hard pull. Your score drops up to 20 points. Does not matter if you're approved or denied. The shorter the term, the higher the monthly payment's going to be. The longer the term, the less monthly amount you'll pay, but you will pay, a higher interest, right? Some loans charge interest up front, and this would only work if you stop utilizing those credit cards, right? Otherwise, you're going to run into the risk of, doubling or tripling your debt. So when you're taking out a personal loan, make sure it's used to pay off your debt if that's what you're seeking. A lot of people, we see a lot of our clients, like, take out a personal loan, and what they do is they, half of it they use to pay off some of the debt, and the other half they use it for vacations or whatever it may be. So make sure that you stick to your goal. If you're trying to get that personal loan to pay off your debt, make sure it's used for that sole purpose, not for anything else. I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Sandy.
No, yeah, I mean that's one of the things that we've been seeing a lot. I mean, we have clients that they get a personal loan to pay some credit cards, but they start using it again. So once
Yeah.
we come to us, I mean, they double paying the debt twice, so or sometimes three times, right? Because they continue using those credit cards. So just, I mean, try to make sure if you want to do that, just not to use the credit cards in the meantime, so you don't have to be paying double. So it's one of the things I've been seeing a lot. Like, yeah, they get a personal loan, but they start using the credit cards again. And I know sometimes it's an emergency, but I mean, at the end you're gonna be paying more. So
Yes. So a lending circle. So this is a financial product that we have in-house here at the Resurrection Project. Actually, this month, it's we have a strong partnership with Mission Asset Fund, who's your creator, right, of this financial product called Lending Circle. This year marks our 10-year anniversary being a partner with Mission Asset Fund. And this is just an amazing product that we have, again, in-house. I do want to mention that the Resurrection Project pays an annual fee to bring this financial product on board to the state of Illinois. So this is a unique product. Only 35 states in the 50 states offer this financial product. So we're super excited to have this in the state of Illinois. There's also another not-for-profit organization on the north side that offers, it's Center for Changing Lives, that offer this financial product. But let me explain how it works. There's a little graphic here. So just the example, there's 8 people, right? Each person is going to contribute $100. So Sandy gets her money in the month of January, right? Her lump sum, her savings. Zach in February, right? Jose in March. So this circle ends until everyone receives their savings, right? Each person is saving their own money. So this product is considered an installment loan. We could say it's a personal loan, right? It's a social loan because within the community we're helping each other save. We're helping each other increase our credit score. Because if you see on the right hand side, you see the 3 major credit bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. This product reports to all 3 major credit bureaus as an installment loan. And you're doing 2 things. You're saving, right? Because you're saving money. You get a lump sum when your number is chosen, or when it's your month to get your lump sum. And you're also increasing or your credit score, right? Or establishing your credit profile for the very first time. We do have clients that have never established credit for the first time. They join a lending circle, and within 6 months, they're almost at a 700 credit score with just a lending circle. Obviously, this is not going to be the same for everyone. It all depends on what's being reported on your credit report. If you have a damaged credit profile, unfortunately, you're not going to, your credit score is not going to increase like by 300 points. The average points is 168, average per credit profile, depending again on what's on your credit report. But I think this product is just amazing, and it's unique in several ways. First of all, it's not credit score based. So we do not care if you have bad credit, you're at a 300, or you have excellent credit, you're at 850. This is not credit score based. Anyone can participate to save and just like continue to increase your credit score. The other thing is, as you know, when you apply, for example, a credit card or a personal loan, what's taken into consideration is your personal income, your sole income, and your credit score. So if you have no income, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to be approved for that personal loan or that credit card. So here, what we do is we consider household income. So just an example, I have my 18-year-old son who's a student who's not working, but I want him to start building credit because here at the age in the States, at the age of 18, you're able to build credit. So he has no job. What I could do is I could use my checks, or he can use my check stubs to start building his credit. As long as he has a bank account, because this is you do have to have a checking account in order for you to participate. So as long as anyone else in the household has a checking account of their own under their name, they're able to participate. But use anyone in the household that's working, use their pay stubs or their bank statements. So that's another unique component. Another unique component, or the last component, it's ITIN friendly. So this product is one of the few that we're able to offer to our immigrant families. So this is just an amazing product. Again, it's a social loan. It's different. It has different names in different countries, right? So basically, you're helping as a community, helping one another save, and also build a positive credit profile. This product as well, it's just like a credit card and a personal loan. If you miss a payment, unfortunately, you're going to be reported late to the credit bureaus. It does damage your credit profile, right? So do take that into consideration. But this is, again, a product we've had here at the Resurrection Project for 10 years. These 10 years, the savings amount from all the participants in these 10 years has been over $400,000, interest free, just working with your money. So we've been able to, help all these consumers or these clients that come in to participate in a lending circle to save and also to increase their credit score. Many of them go off and purchase their homes, right?
Yes.
I would say 67% of the clients that participate in a lending circle at the Resurrection Project do it solely to add to their down payment for their home and also to increase their credit score. So it's just an amazing product we have in-house. We could provide you more information, on a one-on-one. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Sandy.
No, you mentioned that. I mean, I was about to mention that when I meet with a clients and they don't have a credit established or they have lost savings, and I know the client is gonna could be considered long term. It's gonna take over a year or 2 years to become a homeowner. That's one of the products that we recommend because they doing two things at the same time. They building the credit and they saving. And most of the client, we have a couple of clients that they finish one lending circle and they register again because they see the difference in their credit and they saving as soon as they receive that. Like for instance, in January they receive the money or they're gonna receive it in August. They save the money for the down payment, or they using that money if they have high monthly debt and that high credit card debt. They're using that money as well to put it through those debts so they can pay it down and increase their credit or have less they can qualify for the mortgage. So definitely it's one of the in-house products that we have, and I think like 9% of almost like 9 or 10 of our clients that we offer that service. If their goal is to buy a home and it's gonna be over a year or 2 years, to take advantage of this because they can save and improve their credit at the same time.
Exactly. And the default rate for this product is less than 1%.
Yes.
Do know that in order for the Resurrection Project to bring this financial product to the state of Illinois, we have to have a loan loss reserve fund with a certain amount in case someone were to default, right? Again, that default rate is less than 1%. But the consumers or the participants or the clients would never know if someone withdrew or something happened in the circle. 1,000% guaranteed that you'll get your funds. So do not worry about that. Again, if there's any questions or concerns in regards to this product, you could feel free to schedule an appointment with myself, with Sandy, and we'll be able to talk more in depth about that.
Yes. Putting limits in place, putting some roadblocks in place may help crop spending, and it's easier than it may seem. Adding limits on your credit card or debit card, like the amount of times you are able to use the credit card per month, freezing your credit cards, utilizing your bank apps to see how much you're spending on what. So definitely that can help you. There's a lot of apps or tools that they can help you. Like if you think you overspending a month, or sometimes you can even put like a limit on your credit card or monthly on your debit card, like weekly or daily, or like not to spend over $200 or $500, or so that can help you to put like a limit or like time, like okay, I don't want to spend over $500 a week, or depending on your credit card. So definitely there's a lot of tools that you can help you they can help you to start putting limits so you can start spending less or work on your action plan, on your goal of reducing your monthly debt. Hmm.
And I would like to add, Sandy, that there's also financial hardship programs that the credit card companies they offer. You would have to call because each one is specific, right? Just an example, there's some financial institutions that offer, if you're not able to pay because you're going through a hard time, they might let you, skip a payment, 2 payments, 3 payments, and still report that you're making payments on time to the credit bureaus. There's also other programs where depending on your financial hardship, they could lower their interest rate for a certain amount of time, right? Let's say you have a 28% interest rate, they could lower it to 14% for 3 months, for 6 months. But it all depends on the financial company or the financial institution that you have. always communication is key, right? If you're going through a hardship, communicate. That's they banks really appreciate communication. So if you're going through a hardship, do not be embarrassed, right? You're not going to be judged. They're there to help you, but just make sure you communicate before, like, you don't make any payments, or you want to close the credit cards with the balance on it. So make sure you communicate, see what your bank has to offer and how they could help you. They're more than willing to help.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for adding that. And like I say, finding a side income, right? That's another way to bring more income to your household and try to pay that extra, those extra $100 in your credit card or your personal loans. So, and of course, finding a side income is another way to pay off your debt faster. When thinking about side incomes, consider any marketable skills you have. For example, you are good in hand for baking, or try selling baked goods service online. When you're choosing a side income, you can opt to for a part-time job if that's something that are you able to do it, a part-time job, or a small business idea like baking. And just assure that you are getting income more, n- not getting more into debt to fund this side income, right? You don't want to invest a lot of, I mean, our goal is to bring more income, not to spend more. Like if you're trying to do like a baking, or you are good doing something, you don't want to overspend more and be in a worse position, right? Similarly, if you have clothes, shoes, furniture, or other items that you no longer want, sell them online. Hold a yard sale, so to see how much where you can get paid for them. So definitely, I mean, that's a good way to, like, sometimes we have a lot of things in our house they wouldn't use and they have good value that we can do a yard sale, garage sale, and that's another, like, maybe like what I've been seeing, like between 200 to $500 probably extra that you can get in a jar sale, depending on what you're selling, right, or what you have. That can help you to put that in saving, or try to pay that those credit cards that you have, at least one, or start like saving to have more income. Hmm.
We saw this a lot, no, Sandy, during the
Yeah.
pandemic. There's
Yes.
people that started their own small business because they lost their job during the pandemic. They catering, like you said, baking, jewelry making, candle making, all kinds of amazing things.
Yeah.
So
Cooking, like, yeah, definitely a lot of, I mean, selling food, like, and I mean, if that's something that you have in mind, is something that can help you, um or maybe like have a part time for, I mean, I have a client, and just to talk about that, I have a client that she's a teacher, and now I'm so happy she's approved, and she's under contract now. I've been working for her with her for over, like, it's gonna be like 3 years this year. And she's a teacher, and she got a part-time job during the summer, because, I mean, she was not working, and she had a high monthly debt. I mean, yeah, not monthly debt, but in general, like, her debt was high. And she, yeah, my goal is to buy a home, and I really want to move. And she's young, and like, oh, I'm gonna get a part time. And she got a part time. Those in 2 summers, she was able to save what for her part time. It was only for like 2 months. Save that money to pay off her credit cards, and now she was approved for the amount that she wanted, because of the high debt. Her pre-approval was low at the beginning, so reducing that debt helped her to qualify for more. So definitely having a part-time job just for a couple of months, if your goal is to save, if you really save the money, not spending, um, the client was able to pay off the credit cards. Now she's under contract, hopefully closing within the next couple of weeks. So definitely that helps. I know. I mean, sometimes our job or the type of job we do might not help, or we have family that might not help. But definitely, I mean, that's another option. I don't know. You wanna add anything, Sandy?
yeah, no, definitely. I'm looking at what you said. Like, if you have clothes, shoes, items that you don't use, there's like apps like Macari and Poshmark, right? Like things like that. I know they are time consuming, but I mean, if you have the time to do it and are willing to, you know, um, willing to, maybe at night, like, post items and stuff like that. So I think that's also a side income that some people do. I just found out from Macari, because I do have friends and family that post on Poshmark or sell on Poshmark and Macari. Macari is actually giving you 100% of the proceeds. There was a percentage that they would keep in order, because of the platform and to make money. But now, let's say you sell an item for $10, you get the $10. Like, they don't take anything off. But there is like a little side note to that. I believe like if you take out money or want to transfer the money over to like your bank account or anything like that, there is a fee. That's the only thing. But do know that you get 100% of your proceeds. So that's a good way of also like selling stuff if you don't want to do like a yard sale or you don't have time to do a yard sale.
Yes.
You do that at your own leisure.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. Okay.
So we do have some, and I'm not sure if I mean, we have some tools, like it's the snowball method to like to show you, and usually we go over those in one-on-one. When we meet with the clients, we give them an example like how long it's gonna take you to pay a credit card. If you only pay your minimum payment, like it may take you like what, 5 years, 7 years, for like $500 balance. So usually we have those tools in house that we can share with you once we meet with you, so you can see those extra $25 that you can put in a on that credit card. That can make a big difference. That extra, like 1 week over your spend your budget and you have a surplus of $200 and you wanna those from those $200 you wanna put $100 to one specific credit card, that can make a big difference. Um, so we can provide you with that worksheet that we have in house, so you can work on that. And so definitely that can help you a lot to see the difference. I mean, our goal is to for you to be successful, and little by little. I mean, if you try to put $50 to each card, then it may take longer because you're not gonna see the difference. So definitely, there's tools available that Sandy can provide, or myself. So let's. I mean, if you well, go ahead, Sandy. You wanna go
Yeah,
over?
yeah, definitely. So, a more personalized approach, right? Meeting with myself or, with Sandy Cabrera or our colleagues, right? Our team. We do have other financial coaches and home purchase advisors that could help. It's not just us. It's super convenient. You have the appointments in person. We could do a Zoom call. We could do a phone call, whatever's, more convenient for you. And I think that's one of the positive things that came out of the pandemic, where we're able to offer these services and get more clients or reach more communities or reach more people, right? Because we're able to offer these other appointments, not just in
In
person.
person, yes.
But the appointments are free. Feel free to schedule an appointment with us. Our services are free of charge. I just mentioned over the phone and all that good stuff. We are located we have an office space in Pilsen, in Back of the Yards and Melrose Park. So if you're looking for an in-person appointment, you could and one of those communities or areas are closer to you, feel free. We could we're more than happy to meet you at one of those locations. And what we offer, right? We could run a credit report soft pull, which again means it's just for revision purposes. Your score is not going to drop because you're not applying for a line of credit. We could help you establish a budget that fits your lifestyle, right? There's no judgments here. Everything remains confidential, which is great.
Yes.
I can't go and talk to, Sandy about any of my clients. That's,
No.
against our policy, right? So we do talk in case, we never give names. If we need like resources or we need anything, we go to one another, but there's no information in regards to our clients given, right? That's again
Yes.
against our policy. We're able to help you create an action plan to pay off your debt. I do want to mention that, home purchase and financial empowerment, it is 80% client driven, 20% coach driven, which means the bulk of the work is the clients. We don't, we try to stay away from hand holding, right? Because we want our clients to learn, how to follow their action plan or how to achieve their financial goals themselves. We are here to provide, again, the tools, resources, recommendations, suggestions, but the bulk of the work is the clients. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Life life's always hectic, right? Life happens. You managing your money, it can seem overwhelming, or anything that has to do with finances, credit report, anything is overwhelming. But do know that we're here to help, help you with anything that's going on in your life right now, and just, guide you. But again, if you want to see success in your case, obviously you have to, do the bulk of the work, but we're here to
Yes.
help.
Thank you. Yes, definitely.
So I think that's where it ends. I don't know if there's any questions, Dana, any concerns, comments, questions that are hindering there.
Absolutely. We are, first of all, Sandy and Sandy, thank you so much. Sandy and Sandy from the Resurrection Project. We have a number of people who've asked questions. Again, they're both financial counselors at the Resurrection Project. We are thrilled that part of the Money Matters Institute is not only that you can join us online like this, you can come out on Thursday night and see us in person and talk to them about what you'd like to talk about, any questions, no judgment, as she said, and there's one-on-one financial counseling. 3 key pieces. That's personal and confidential. That part has nothing to do with the treasurer's office. We're just getting you together so you can sail off and solve your issues. So I'm thrilled, and thank you so much for giving that information. So we have, from Maria, what is a good interest rate?
A 0% interest
0%.
rate is a good interest rate. Obviously, a lot of we don't see that in many cases, just because everything is credit score based. So if you're at an 850, that's when you're 750 to 850. That's when you're going to get the 0% interest rates. That's a good interest rate. But if you have lower score than 750, I would say no more than 8%, 9%. Again, it all depends on the financial institution, but the best interest rate is a 0% interest rate.
Are there any services for disabled people who may need more assistance, possibly what you call hand-holding?
So each case is different. Obviously, any client that comes in, we're more than happy to help as much as we can. But yeah, I mean, I do have cases where I'm like, oh my God, they don't, they need more help, and I'm more than willing to do that. But the majority of the work is the clients, as long as they follow their action plan and they, we're able to reach out to them on a monthly basis, and they, are interactive with us, and they keep, in communication with us, because we do have a lot of clients that fall off the radar, right? We don't want that to happen. But each case is different. If you need more help, we're more than happy to offer that help.
Yes.
Most definitely.
So you come in and bring your information, you'll walk through it with them, have an action plan, and then it's up to us to get the work done.
Exactly. But each case is different. If you need a little bit more help, again, we're more than happy to offer that assistance.
Got it. Now, Nancy's asking, do any credit cards charge a fee if you pay off a balance transfer early?
That's a great question. That's one of the questions you should ask before proceeding with applying for that card. So that's something, questions to ask again. Do they charge an annual fee? What's their transfer rate? Is it 3, 4, 5%? What is that? The question you just asked. Are they gonna? Is there a penalty for paying it off early? So those are the questions you should ask before even proceeding or applying for that particular card.
Thank you. And please, a lot of people asking, please, what company gives 100% of online sales? So there's a trick to it, but you can keep all the money for what you sold online.
Yes. So that's Mercari, Mercari. Again, Mercari, Mercari. Before, and I think this just the policy changed as of January of this year, where you're able to keep 100% of the proceeds. The only thing is, if you're going to transfer over monies, or you're going to ask for a check for the amount, they are going to charge you a slight fee. So what happens is, what I've heard from family and friends, is that they wait to allocate a certain amount, and then they're able to withdraw the money. It doesn't make sense if you sold $5 and they're going to charge you $2 to transfer that those whatever is left of $3 to like your bank, or provide you a check for $3. So a lot of people, what they're doing is they're waiting until they get a good chunk of money, and then transferring over that money or requesting a check.
Got it. Okay, very good. That's all the time we have. Actually, no, sorry. Will you repeat the 0% interest process when you transfer a credit card balance? Please repeat the 0% interest process when you transfer a credit card.
Absolutely. So always do your homework and look at 3 or more options, right? Ask, is there an annual fee? Are they going to charge you an annual fee? What are they going to charge you for the balance transfer? What's the transfer fee? So it's usually between 3 to 5%. You would have to ask that, right? I think that's it. Just make sure that they're not off or requesting for you to pay an annual fee. What is it that they're the amount that they're going to request for that fee? But also a great question, the last question, I would say, how much are they willing to transfer over? Again, as I mentioned in the example, if you owe $20,000 on a credit card, they're not going to want to transfer the $20,000 on that 0 interest balance. It's only a certain amount. I think up to like $8,000-9,000. You would have to find another credit card for that. So ask those questions. And
you also said to remember that 0% is only on the balance that you transfer, not
exactly.
on
not a new debts. No. So let's say you have a balance transfer card. It's 0 interest, right? But for if you want to add more debt to that, it's like a 30% interest. So do know that whatever new debt's added on, that's going to be charged at 30% interest, not at zero. So please, the focus on getting these balance transfer cards is to pay off your debt and save money because you're not paying any interest. So please do not, steer away from using those cards to add more debt to it, because you're just gonna, it doesn't make any sense to add more debt to it. You're just gonna have to pay more interest. So you're basically not saving money if you're adding money to that card.
Yes.
This is so helpful, and you're getting lots of thank yous and saying this is so helpful. So, and it's really important that you know, again, this is free of charge. This is the Resurrection Project. The Chicago-Ervin League has also been a partner of ours. This is all through the Money Matters Institute. Please don't pay somebody to help you address your credit card debt or any other debt. You can get that service free of charge, okay? So I want to say to you as we conclude, please look at the chat box. You did that. We want to thank again Sandy Guzman and Sandy Cabrera from the Resurrection Project. You were wonderful. Thank you so much. Please complete the survey to help us better serve you, and be sure to see us Thursday. This Thursday, July 25th, is coming up. This Thursday at 6 p.m. in person at 4600 Southwood at the Resurrection Project. Please come out and see them in person. You can see them and talk to them and ask your questions, and we would love to see you there. So again, please do the survey. The evaluation survey helps us know how to better serve you, and you get what you want out of this program. We want this to be very successful for you to be knowledgeable in your financial management and your well-being. Again, thank you from the Money Matters Institute and the Chicago Treasurer's Office. Have a great day.
Hey Chicago, it's your city treasurer, Melissa Conyears-Ervin, and I am proud to bring you the largest financial education and empowerment summit right here in the heart of Chicago. You can connect with leaders from the financial services industry, government agencies, city organizations, and nonprofits to share their financial knowledge. Empower yourself to create and build long-term wealth with direct access to financial education and resources on site. So join our lineup of knowledgeable workshops, keynote speakers, and networking opportunities for all ages. Save the date, Chicago. Saturday, October 12th, from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. in person at the UIC Forum. Don't miss it.